Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
Tonight in the show, we're going to teach you a pretty quick and easy recipe, also inspired from my kick or bender of Jacques Pepin YouTube videos. On several episodes, Jacques makes potato pancakes, which I think are like not that fashionable now, but they certainly are more popular in other parts of the world. This is not a recipe for latkes, which are traditionally enjoyed around Hanukkah time. And the main difference is latkes are more pronounced in their lacy potato nature. I'm very tired, as you might have imagined. I just had to present for an hour and a half, so I'm kind of talked out, but here I go doing this anyways. I will have a drink tonight. I'm gonna have a dry Riesling from Washington Hills, which you may be surprised to learn that Washington Hills are located in Washington State. And it's Twist Off. God bless. Alright, part of why this recipe appeals to me is that there's some leeway. You don't have to really sweat all the proportions. So to start, we are going to serve the finished potato pancake with a sour cream spread and some smoked salmon. So I'm gonna get that sour cream going. You could use cream fraiche if you wanted to be real hoity-toity, but sour cream will do just fine. And you can also use plain sour cream. There's really no need to do what I'm doing, which is to flavor it a bit. Potatoes and sour cream go together very, very well. And so what I wanted to share with this dish in part is that, you know, it has, I think, pretty humble origins. And you can make this as humbly as you would like. I do think that a potato pancake with just sour cream on it is very good. Anything else is just extra. And speaking of extra, one of the things we will not be doing today is you can top these with caviar. To this sour cream, I'm going to add some lemon, and I would be adding fresh dill if I could have f***ing found it. Instead, I will be adding some of this Penzeys spices seasoning called Sunny Paris. Specifically, why am I adding this? This is shallot, chive, pepper, basil, tarragon, chevrolet, bay leaf, and dillweed. I want to add that because it has both chive and dill flavor. And I think the other things will be just a nice bonus. I'm just going to add some of that right there and mix it into my sour cream. And essentially what we have created is kind of like a sour cream and onion type flavor profile. But it's fancier because we call it Sunny Paris. You can leave it out, you can put it in the fridge, whatever. It probably won't take us that long. So I'll probably just leave it out. I probably should have tasted it. Probably tastes better after it sits for a minute. Needs more seasoning. I feel like I didn't pick up any of the flavor. Well, I sure will now. I think that's plenty. Okay, so we are essentially gonna shred potato and a bit of onion. We're gonna use some binders to hold them together into a pancake. So we will start with an egg. Depending on how many pancakes you want, you can use 1 to 2 eggs. Typically 1 will be plenty, but it really won't hurt to add 2 eggs, I don't think. But I'm not an expert. I think I've made these once. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'll go ahead and beat those eggs real quick. All right. And I'm gonna try to make quite a bit today. So kind of my base recipe would be 1 egg and a tablespoon of flour, but we're scaling up a bit. So we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of flour, which I'm measuring with a teaspoon because that's what I have handy. And to that we will add half a teaspoon of baking powder. Seems good. And we can add some salt and some pepper. And you can whisk or just mix it together, something like this, and we'll finish mixing it with our potatoes. So we need to peel some potatoes. Any old potatoes will do. I think this is probably best with regular old russets. And I'm gonna peel a few of these, and then we will shred them. So maybe like 5 potatoes? I don't know, we're gonna make several pancakes. I'm gonna peel and we'll be back. Okay, now we just gotta grate our potatoes. You can use a box grater. If you have a fancy mandolin, that would be fine too. If you're familiar with making hash browns, you'll be so f***ing tired of him doing that. The dog is literally sabotaging me so he can try to f***ing get another snack. Anyways, if you're familiar with hash browns, you know you want to try to remove some of the starch. Or French fries for that matter. And that's like, that annoys me. Like it's like a pain in the ass, okay? So here is why this is more appealing to me, is that you don't have to perfectly get all of the starch out from the shredded potato. Instead, you can take your potatoes and just squeeze them. Which is gross, by the way. But just giving them like a squeeze like that is sufficient for our purposes today. So it removes most of the starch. It's not perfect, but I feel like potato pancakes are kind of good when they're not perfect, you know? This is not like highfalutin food that we're making, unless of course you put caviar on them, then it is pretty highfalutin. So I'm gonna shred some more potatoes, and then we'll mix them up in our binders, and we'll get to making pancakes. Okay, you need a small onion, or if you have a big onion, you can use half an onion. We're gonna grate that as well. And grating onion, it kind of sucks, to be honest. If you use a box grater, you should use these small guys here, small holes. And essentially you want to create like an onion pulp. But if you don't mind onion too much, you could do like bigger shreds. That'll be fine. This is just for flavor, not really for texture. All right, now here's an optional addition, some green onion. Most people will do onion or green onion, but you know, what's gonna happen if you use both? You probably just have more flavor, it's good. I kind of like how the green onion looks in the pancake. We'll just add a little bit, and you don't have to do it this way. But I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna mix it by hand. And the reason I think that mixing it by hand is that it's pretty gloppy, you know? So it'll be hard to actually really incorporate the mix without doing it by hand. So I'm gonna do that because I think it'll be good. But really what you're looking for is like, do the potatoes stick together at all? You don't need like a firm stickiness necessarily. Oh my God, these shredded onions are killing me. I cannot see. But you want a well incorporated mix. And you know, if the onions make you cry, it's okay. You probably had a hard day. But I'm liking how these are looking. So, you know, they are fairly juicy, that's fine. But I think that we'll be able to make some nice potatoes. All right, so we have our pancake batter ready to go. And since I already was cutting green onions, I'm gonna cut some more as a garnish. And certainly I think chives would be a little bit more appropriate. Green onions will do just fine. All right, so get a non-stick pan heated up. This is the largest non-stick pan I have. I definitely think this is easiest with a non-stick pan. And we'll use some vegetable oil for frying today. Be pretty generous with the oil. Essentially, you're trying to shallow fry these pancakes, so a lot of oil will help make for a uniform result. So give us a quick minute to heat up, and then we'll start making pancakes. Okay, so you need a scoop of some kind, and scoop up some potato. Carefully drop it into the oil, and then you can either use a spatula or the cup itself to flatten it out. You don't need to press it necessarily. I'm realizing that that pancake's too big. Pancake's probably a good size. We'll have room for one more. We'll put over here. And once you place that pancake, such as I have right here, don't touch it. Except maybe with some salt. You can touch it with salt. But don't flip it around, don't move it, don't wiggle it, don't do nothing. You literally need to just let it sit there. Except for one thing, which is I'm gonna push this forward just a tiny bit so it actually gets in the oil. If your pan is heated properly, you can press on it a little bit if you want, that's okay. But even just from this brief amount of cooking that I've done here, already this has formed a little bit of a crust and now has a kind of a shape that will hold. And we wanna fry these around 4 minutes on each side. So we're gonna have a very deep golden brown color, hopefully, on both sides. And the inside will be a little bit softer. Pretty easy, right? I feel like almost anybody could do this. How about you, Iggy? Could you do this? You saboteur ran into me while I was grating potatoes, and you didn't even like try to steal the potato. You literally just wanted to disrupt my process. We'll be back. All right, it's been a couple of minutes, and these are ready to flip. How can I tell? They're very golden on the one side. And so we do that. You can see that this pan is much hotter in the middle. And this is one of those things where I think it will be okay if you have to flip them a couple of times. Ooh, that's a good one. Look at that one. And give those a fry on the other side. A couple more minutes, and then we'll keep making them. But then we'll finish them too. And then we'll eat. That's what we do on the show. All right, so I think it's been long enough that these are probably fully done. You can see you got one side and the other side. I'm pretty happy with these, and these are ready to be moved to a plate. Go ahead and do that, and we'll do a bit more oil for our next batch. And while those are cooking, we'll go ahead and finish up presentation for our first batch. Okay, let's go ahead and finish our pancakes here. I have some smoked sockeye salmon, which I'm trying to separate from the pack. And in our case, I think these pieces will be just fine as they are. And we'll go ahead and take some of our prepared sour cream. And you have a couple choices here. You can simply leave it as a blob there, or you can spread it out. I think a knife would be very appropriate for doing that, like so. Place our salmon, and then of course, you'll want to garnish this with something. So some green onion or chive, like so. And this just makes me think of bagels and lox, so I'm gonna add a couple of capers just as a fun secondary garnish. And that's it. Nice little potato pancake with sour cream and salmon. You will probably need to eat like 2 of these to have a full meal. Okay, so if someone prepares this for you, you should absolutely use a fork and a knife like a polite human being. But this is PGC and I'm at home, so I can just shove it into my gullet. It's excellent. I almost feel like it's missing an acidic note, so maybe I needed more lemon juice or something, but it's really, really tasty. But the pancake itself is awesome. Crispy outside, soft, wholesome inside. The salmon's delicious. Man, these are great. You could put anything on those and it would be great. So that's a success in my book. Super easy, super delicious. It's cheap too. I mean, if you skip the salmon, just put an egg on it, That'll be a really fine meal. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. I would recommend serving that with a salad, like a side salad for sure, because otherwise you're just gonna be pounding flour and potato. And yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Oh, and some white wine. So happy cooking to you. That's how you do it, and we'll see you next time.